This is shocking everyone around Major League Baseball. Luis Robert Jr., one of the more intriguing trade chips who is struggling mightily at the plate, but has looked like a transformed player this year for the White Sox. And then on the other side of the ledger, Javier Baez. Is it a career renaissance? Is this just a flash in the pan? We'll break that down and much more coming up next on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and there's a couple of things that I do want to talk about. But again, if you haven't checked out my video from yesterday talking about the Padres, go ahead and do so. And before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we're only a few hundred away from 3,000. The support has been pretty cool, so shout out to you guys for keeping this going. But a couple of stories that I wanted to get to today. Most notably, what the trade pieces are going to look like towards the deadline as we get close there. And Javier Baez as well, who has been one of my favorite stories, if not my favorite story thus far early in the year in Major League Baseball, who we all thought was done. All thought was disinterested with baseball. He looks like he's having fun again, which is great to see. He's an electric player when he is healthy and when he's engaged. And right now he is both of those things for the Tigers as they look to get back to the postseason for the second year in a row. But let's start off with Luis Robert Jr., who has an OPS under 600, leads the league in stolen bases. We know has been an MVP candidate in the past and has played elite defense in center field for, let's call it what it is, the lowly Chicago White Sox. So where is Robert going to end up at the deadline? That is a big question mark. This has been kind of swirling for the past couple of years now, as there's no true definitive answer. Like, the White Sox are far away from competing, but then again, you could argue that why would you get rid of a guy in his mid-20s who is on a very good contract, who you have under control for 3 or so more years? Like, that is another avenue that the White Sox were looking at it with, and it made sense, but they are just so far away that it does not make sense to hang on to Luis Robert. I mean, they traded away Garrett Crochet, a guy that I thought they should have held on to, who could have been a pillar in that rotation. But if you're not going to re-sign the guys, and if you're going to keep nickel and diming them, then you got to start looking in other directions. And that is what the White Sox need to do here. They got to trade Luis Robert. Now, to who? That's the age-old question that we don't know the answer to. I mean, there are some teams that do make sense. Maybe the Houston Astros, even though they don't have the farm system. I think the Atlanta Braves make sense with all of the injuries that they've had. The Blue Jays could use some help. I would love to see the Blue Jays acquire him, although I don't think it's entirely possible that happens. I mean, first off, it's really hard to gauge what a package for Robert looks like at the moment. It's super hard to determine that because he's struggled, and he's been an under 700 OPS guy for the better part of 2 years now. And he's years removed from his MVP caliber season. He's not that same player anymore. Or is he? Is he just not in the right offense? Is he not getting pitches to hit? Is he a little antsy at the plate because he wants to up his trade value? Who knows what is going on with Luis Robert right now, but I think he does look engaged, which is evident by his stolen base numbers, evident by his elite defense in the outfield for a very poor team. So he's engaged. I don't think there's a lack of effort on his part. It's more so just the hitting and getting the timing down that is his issue at the moment. Now, off to a very fun topic here. Javier Baez, who has been tearing the cover off the ball for the Detroit Tigers, an OPS around the 850 mark. And what a great story this has been. A guy who had a 46 OPS plus last year has really found his game again. Now, it's a small sample size, but he almost has as many hits this season as he did last year, which it's been fun to watch. And I'm glad that Javier Baez is having fun. The Tigers are sheltering him, hitting him in the bottom of the lineup, not really expecting him to live up to that contract. I mean, that has surpassed itself now. We're not going to see him live up to that big deal that he signed to come to Detroit a couple of off seasons ago. But what he can do is still make the most of it and still be a productive player. And right now he is playing elite defense. He has accumulated 1.9 wins above replacement, which is a pretty good mark in the American League. And not going to get MVP votes, not going to get all-star votes, I don't think. But it's been really cool to watch Javier Baez kind of have a resurgence to his career this season with the Detroit Tigers. A lot of fun to watch, playing great defense in the outfield, playing great defense at shortstop, at third base as well. The guy can do it all when he is engaged, and he's a very talented player who, lacks a bit of plate discipline, which is an understatement, lacks some of the fundamentals of the game, but he is electric, and he is fun to watch, and I'm glad that he is back with the Tigers and doing some damage. That'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you all so much for making it this far, and I'll see you all tomorrow.